out. I tweeted it out, so we're all ready to go, right?
Point. I don't know if I have tweeted it out. Let me see.
I retweeted your tweet from some time ago.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay.
Play the scoreboard this early in the season and say everything's good. There's so many, not just brush fires, but big fires to put out. Yes, I'd say it's time to panic in a good
Interesting. I
way.
didn't
I mean that in
expect
a
that.
good way.
That's Dave Hyde, Sentinel columnist. I am Omar Kelly, host of X's and Omar, also a Sentinel columnist. Dave, the performance against the Bills was pretty disappointing. If you look at it from this standpoint, Josh Allen, he does own a 6-1 record over the Miami Dolphins. And if it wasn't for that Charles Clay drop in 2018, he'd probably be 7-0 against this team. But Dave, do the Bills own the Dolphins in this era?
This owning stuff is irrelevant when the previous 2 years you've been rebuilding. Okay, this was the year your coming out party. Okay, you're supposed to show you're probably not at the Bills level, but you can give them a game. They didn't even ask Josh Allen to play a good game. He didn't play a good game on Sunday.
First
And
time.
so they didn't even get the Bills 8 game and they lost 35-0. So that's, you can call whatever you want, panic or desperation. It's time to push up the mode of, okay, what do we got to do? Because you got to find answers and you got to find them quick.
Yeah, this is definitely a time you got to find answers. But 35-0 just made the score makes the game look a lot worse than it was. And I'm to the problems that the Bills were creating. And you can say execution, execution, execution all you want, but when your team doesn't see any counters that will work, it's kind of hard to go out there and execute. And it adds to the pressure that the players feel and are under. Not to say that that's an excuse for drops and penalties and holding calls and muffed punts and roughing the quarterback penalties, but it explains why they mentally were not there to me.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you that you look at some of the fast starts the Dolphins have had in the last year against the Rams when they came down here, and right from the start, the first series they schematically confused the Rams into a turnover, and just as the Bills schematically 2 corner blitzes. Okay, we can get into all that, but A, they saw something on the film where the Dolphins were, and B, they didn't think Tua would be able to pick up the corner blitz and see it, and he didn't, and he didn't move any protection
He saw it. Here's the beauty of what they did, and which is why Leslie Frazier is a genius. Because when you have those RPOs and the cornerback blitzes off the edge, the built-in play is the slant to Devontae Parker. Well, they dropped a safety into the zone where the slant is. Tua had to pull it down. By the time he looks at his second read, the safety's on top of him. There were no outlet, quick, hot reads available to him, and that's why he ended up with 2 first-quarter sacks. Then when they put Mike Gesicki in the game, they were edge blitzing again. Dolphins have to call Mike Gesicki in to pass protect. Mike Gesicki, as you know, cannot pass protect. It was like a free rusher to the quarterback. And while it might not have resulted in the sack, that pressure applied pressure to everybody on the offense. And it was just a hot disaster.
Yeah, I see that, but I also saw 2 running backs there in the first series go to block up in the line. If Tua had seen it, he would have just had the running back go block the guy coming off the corner, or he would have thrown the ball away or something. He just didn't see it. And I think the combination of the Bills saying, oh, we can attack, and this was a different philosophy than Bill Belichick did the previous week, where oftentimes Belichick for coming up with a plan right off the bat that really won the game.
Yeah. Now, the important thing that we have to discuss is the fact that Tua Tagovailoa got injured on the second series of the game. Jesse Davis did an Ole block that allowed Tua to get just crushed into his ribs. MRIs taken yesterday revealed that Tua does have broken ribs. That's multiple ribs. It wasn't a broken rib. And he's going to be sidelined for this game, but this isn't just a this game injury. This is a multiple game injury and a pain tolerance injury when he does come back.
You would want Tua in there to see, that's what the season's about, was Tua. And, we've talked about durability issues with Tua. Even before we get to the talent, durability issues. He took a big hit. That's a big NFL hit, okay? I've seen Ryan Tannehill get up from that. I've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick get up from it. I've seen small quarterbacks taking big hits is not a recipe for success. And draft bust. Now that's a direct question right there, getting right to the subject matter.
You know how much I love talking O-line on X's and Omar, and now everybody wants to talk O-line, Dave.
Omar did warn everybody in training camp.
Not training camp. Last year's X's and Omar. I thought this line was mediocre at best. Maybe they had 3 solid starters on it. The hope was that Austin Jackson would take that next step, that Robert Hunt would take that next step. Well, Austin Jackson has regressed worse than anybody I think I've ever seen in Dolphins history. He played poorly during training camp. He followed it up with playing poorly during the preseason. We missed him for the first game because of COVID, and then we saw last week's performance. And yes, I know Jesse Davis, gave that crucial block that got Tua hurt. And I'm at the point where I've seen enough Austin Jackson struggles. I watched him struggle all training camp with Andrew Van Ginkel to make me think, man, Andrew Van Ginkel better be a beast on that field. And he's not. And I'm at the conclusion, this guy is not a left tackle in the NFL. Maybe he's a left guard, but he's not a left tackle. And you got to consider making a move.
All right, Omar. He got caught out this week in a rare way by Brian Flores. He's got to play, but you don't. I haven't heard Brian Flores say that about an individual. Now, the question was about Chris Greer. Let's take it back there because I wrote a column about this. Look at the 2020 draft. At some point, you got to quit looking at the individual players